Welcome to a play-by-play review. I'm your host Henry, and this is very late for when I'm recording this. Burning the midnight oil, quite literally, actually. I mean, I'm not burning oil, but this is 26 minutes past midnight is when I'm starting this. Part of it was, there were, I think, 3 West Coast games that started pretty late today that I wanted to, cover by the time they ended. But also that I was just doing other stuff and I kind of forgot to record this until it was later. And then, just started a bit late, but it's fine. I'm a night guy anyway. So baseball has been kind of crazy this week. It's kind of just been ridiculous. So I'm going to try my best to go over as much as I can because there was some crazy stuff that happened. So we'll flash back to Wednesday, the 8th, since I think that's the first day I need to cover. And I think with a lot of Wednesdays, it was sort of the end of a lot of series. I don't know. Because I think it's usually Mondays and Thursdays looks like they're the off days for a lot of teams so far this season. So I'll start with I'll go with the Red Sox and the Brewers. So the Red Sox had, at that point, been, I think, 4-7 coming into this game, or 3-8 maybe. That might have been what it was. Let's see. They were 3-8 going into this game. Really, really terrible start for the Red Sox, but they had beaten the Brewers 3-2 back on Tuesday, and they actually won this one 5-0. Sonny Gray pitched a really good game in this one. And Red Sox won their first series of the season, actually, as they lost 2 games out of 3 to the Reds, then got swept by the Astros, then lost 2 or 3 to the Padres. Then they won 2 or 3 against the Brewers. So seemed to be doing I guess the NL Central is also the Reds, but yeah, Red Sox turned it around for like 2 games, which was nice. Brewers are interesting because they fell to 8-4 at this point. It's strange seeing them lose to the Red Sox there. And Brewers, actually, wait, hang on. Now that I'm looking at it, Brewers have not won a game since that loss back last Tuesday. I just realized that. So yeah, that's not good. Although why is it saying? Hang on. For some reason, ESPN says so they lost the Nationals, but then they also randomly gave them another win, so they're 9-7 at this point. Unless the Blue Jays are 8 and ESPN is now confusing me greatly. Why? Oh, I'm kind of. That's why I should be recording this late. It's like, oh, it's 9-7. That must be the record. No, it's the score, dummy. I'll get to that. That was actually today. As the Brewers lost 9-7 to the Blue Jays. It's only Tuesday and it's been a week. Well, now it's Wednesday, but it's been a week. So the Brewers are actually 8-8 at the moment. They were 8-3 going after winning their first game against the Red Sox, and they've lost 5 straight at this point. Actually, it might be, is this 6 straight? 6 straight now, actually, to go to 8-8. Anyway, sorry. So the Brewers lost the Red Sox 5-0. I'll try and speed through this. Yeah, there's that. Orioles and Red Sox played. Orioles got swept by the Pirates in their Midwest trip, then won first 2 against the White Sox, and then won this one as well, 5-3. This is a Taylor Ward. I believe he went 4 for 5 in this game with 3 doubles. I'm pretty sure is what this happened here. This is a Kyle Bradish start, and he got his first win. And actually a save by Rico Garcia, which is cool. First save for him because I think Ryan Helsley pitched the last 2 days in a row. So obviously he was not exactly available. And Rico Garcia is off to a really good start. He's played in, I think, now 11 games and is not allowed a hit in those 11 games. It's kind of nuts, not going to lie. He's been, ever since he got brought back to the Orioles back in September of last year, really, I want to say, he's been absurdly good. Actually, on this podcast, the one baseball game I did directly on this podcast, the Orioles Red Sox last year, Rico Garcia got I think it was bases loaded, no outs against the Red Sox late in the game, and he struck out 3 in a row to end the inning. It was really cool. So yeah, Orioles Got back to 500 at that point, and they've actually been doing all right. They just lost today 4-3, but Orioles have had a good stretch this week, which is nice. So Battle of the Yellow Teams also occurred in this back that Wednesday. The Pirates and the Padres, and this was, I think, also the end of a series between them. I'd have to assume it was the end of the series between them. It was a split season or series at this point. The Pirates had won the first game, lost the second game. The Padres. I guess it doesn't really matter that they were one, but yeah, Padres won the first one, lost the second one. Then they would win the third one, 8-2 in this one. Nick Castellanos had a 2-run double, according to the little recap on ESPN, since I do not remember this one all that well, but it was a 4-run seventh inning, which that was probably during that rally. They also had a 4-run ninth inning as well, so that was pretty crazy there. Pirates also had 3 errors in this game, which is not good. Let's see, does it say 2 throwing errors and a fielding error from courtesy of the Pirates, which is not great there, not gonna lie. So the Royals and the Guardians, believe, wrapped up their series as well. This was a very convincing Guardians win, 10-2 at this point. Guardians took the series 2-1. Royals, I don't know, like in the past couple days, but there was a stat going in like through the weekend, I think, where the Royals were just, they could get singles and stuff, but they just could not hit for power at all. Like Bobby Witt, I think, had reached base or like gotten on base like 20 something times, like to start the season, or maybe it was like 30 times. And he had been advanced to home like 3 times. It was insane. Everyone hitting behind him, just they couldn't hit behind him. Essentially, there was just no one there who was hitting behind him. And Witt was hitting second. Like Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, Carter Jensen. It's like they're just. I mean, like Perez, I understand because he's like 39 at this point. Like I'm surprised he's still playing at this point. He is 35. Okay, I thought he was actually older, but I mean, Salvi's been in the league for so long, and I mean Pasquantino as well. I guess Pasquantino's only 28. I could have sworn Vinny has been in the league for like 10 years. No, he's only been in the league since 2022. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe Vinny Pasquantino has only been playing in the majors since 2022. That does not sound right. Anyways, excuse my existential crisis there. He did not have a good game there, and the Guardians won 10-2 with 2 errors also on the Guardians. But it's just like, it's funny how like going through the scores that like some games just don't have a little like recap blurb. Like it's just, for the Padres Pirates is Nick Castellanos' 2-run double, Jake Cronenworth's home opener sparks Padres over Pirates 8-2. Then it has like another little blurb there. And then for the Royals Guardians, it's just Progressive Field, Cleveland, Ohio. No description. It's funny. Anyway. So the Mariners and Rangers played out more probably in Texas, I think. Yeah, that was over in Texas, in Arlington, because I think they're in Arlington. This is a Rangers 3-0 shutout. The Mariners really struggling. They fell to 4-9 at this point and really struggling offensively. I think their pitching also hasn't been amazing. And the Mariners offense has really, really struggled early on in the season. They did. That was a 4-game sweep of the Astros. Wow, that's crazy. Hang on, I didn't realize that that the Astros played a 4-game series against the Mariners, and like basically over the weekend, and that they lost all 4 of them. The Astros got us a really nice start and have cratered since. We'll get to them when we get to them. But the Mariners, I mean, they're 8-10 now. They got off to an awful start, but winning 4 straight, especially against the Astros, is pretty nice there. But at this point, they lost 3-0. Mackenzie Gore, former Washington National, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Stats. Yeah, he was on the Nats for 3 years. I actually started out on the Padres back in 2022, but he was now on the Rangers. So I think the Rangers, like, their starting pitching is actually pretty solid. And like they got Evaldi as well. They're 9-8 at this point. But like everyone in the American League's like around 500. It's really weird. Again, this baseball is strange. So the Blue Jays and Dodgers, to move on, they wrapped up their series. I believe this was a series wrap up. And Blue Jays, who had lost the first two and were free falling at that point, actually got one back on the Dodgers. I think this was I'm pretty sure this was extras. I think it was. No, it wasn't. Oh no, it was just I think it was just a Jeff Hoffman save. There was revenge for World Series Game 7, where Hoffman blew the save and then they lost in extras. So there's that for Toronto. I'm sure they would have preferred if it was, the World Series, that they won the World Series game and lost this game, but oh well. The Rockies and Astros. So this was part of the Astros free fall. They got swept by the Rockies, and then they lost 3 straight to the Rockies, then 4 straight to the Mariners. So that is not a good stretch right there. They also lost 2 of 3 to the Athletics before that. They just played the Rockies again today and beat the Rockies. But still, they lost 9-1 to the Rockies here. Michael Lorenzen played threw a good one. I think I was watching the Orioles game today and they're actually talking about the Astros. It's the Astros at this point I think might have been going into today. They had, I think, tied with the Dodgers, the highest scoring offense in the league, but they also had the worst pitching staff in the league. Like they scored the most runs, tied with the Dodgers, obviously, since the Dodgers are really good. But they also gave up the most runs in baseball. So that's kind of, why they're losing to the Rockies 9-1 at this point, because you got to have a bad pitching staff to give up 9 runs to the Rockies. I'm sorry, Colorado fans. It's just, the Rockies are the punching bag at the moment. But I mean, hey, there's 6-11. They haven't won since that Astros sweep. But yeah, it's the low hanging fruit there. Essentially, I'm sorry about that. I should be better. I'll promise to be better there. Anyway, so the Giants and the Phillies. I believe this is a series wrap as well. The Giants actually shut out the Phillies 5-0 here. Matt Gage got the win. He's been pretty good as a reliever there for the Giants. He was kicking the Orioles' butt a good bit as well. The Rockies or the Giants, different NL West team, took 2 of 3 against the Phillies there. Actually shut them out twice on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Rafi Devers had a homer there. So Giants, they actually had a 3-game winning streak coming into Baltimore, I believe is what it was. And they're coming off, I guess it was only 2-game winning streak going into Baltimore. And then they won their first one in Baltimore. But yeah, the Giants were on a little bit of a hot streak, but then got slowed down by Baltimore later. But we'll get to that in a sec. The Cardinals and the Nationals played. Cardinals won this one 6-1. And Miles Mikolas is not off to a good start for Washington. 0 for 3 with an 11.49 ERA. Yeah, it's not great. 2.17 WHIP as well. Not good there. Jordan Walker, I think, is off to I think someone was showing his Baseball Savant page. Let me actually look it up because his Baseball Savant page was all 99s pretty much. Because he's been, I don't know what's going on with Jordan Walker, but I think it's him. And yeah, it is. Holy crap. It is the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stats in his batting Baseball Savant page. The lowest on it is 97. That's kind of crazy. His batting run value is 100. So his squared up percent, chase percent, whiff, strikeout, and walk percent are not anything special, but a lot of the more in-depth stuff is kind of ridiculous. That's crazy. He's already scored 16 runs, 20 hits, 8 home runs, and a stolen base, hitting .323 in the season so far. That is crazy. So anyway, moving on. The Braves and the Angels played. Braves won this one 8-2. Matt Olson had a home run. Matt Olson's just what a trooper. He's got I think he's getting close to 550 straight or games started straight. That is, it might be more actually. He's it's a lot essentially. It's really, really cool. And helped there as the Angels just continued to just exist around 500. It feels like, though they did beat the crap out of the Yankees today, which is nice. They're actually exactly 500. They're 9-9 at the moment. But yeah, they're like, I say that for them, but there's so many teams around 500 so far. It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on to 15 minutes in and not even through the first day. Diamondbacks Mets played. Diamondbacks win 7-2. Corbin Carroll had 3 extra base hits. Wow, that's impressive. Ryan Nelson got the win here. He almost got the win yesterday against the Orioles, but then other things happened. But I'll get to that when we get to that. Cubs Rays played. Cubs won this one 6-2. Also, Diamondbacks Mets conclusions of the series there. Actually, was that? Hang on. Where D-backs Mets, that was a 7-2 victory. That was actually middle of the series. So Mets had won the first one. Diamondbacks take the second one there. Now the Cubs and Rays. I guess I also didn't do the Braves Angels. That's fine. It's whatever. Cubs and Rays, that 6-2 victory was the end of the series. Cubs would take that series in 3. Braves Angels, that series, hang on. Braves would take that one in 3, winning 2 out of 3 there. Cardinals Nats, that series. Cardinals would that one 2 out of 3, taking game 2 and 3 there. So pretty similar in all that overall. Reds Marlins played. Marlins win this one 7-2. Reds had a tough time in Miami, if I remember correctly. It was a 4-game series, actually. So they actually split the series. Reds won the first 2. Marlins won the, I guess this was the 3rd game. Spoilers, they would win the next one. But yeah, Marlins won this one 7-4. Connor Norby actually had a home run. So former Oriole there. Him and Kyle Stowers were traded for Trevor Rogers. So Connor Norby originally was supposed to be the headline prospect, and Stowers is kind of a add-in, but Stowers has been the one to light things up so far, and he should be coming back from injury pretty soon. Well, Norby has not exactly done all that well so far, but he did have a homer there. The Athletics and Yankees played their series. I think the Yankees took this series. No, they didn't. This is actually the second game of the series. Yankees won the first one off of walk-off, I believe, and they would fall here 3-2, beginning a very rough stretch for the Yankees. I think they were 8-2 going into this game, and it did not go well after that, which was very fun to see. Then finally, the Twins and the Tigers played. I don't think this was the end of the series. I think they played after this. This is the 3rd of 4 in a series there, and the Twins would win their 3rd straight against the Tigers, winning 8-6. Framber Valdez got absolutely shelled in this one. Like, he put up an absolute stinker. And this is began the week of like really good starting pitchers having maybe not began, but like there was a stretch like for this past like week plus where just a lot of like really good starting pitchers like Framber Valdez, Terry Skubal, Garrett Crochet, especially on Monday, and more, just had like really bad outings. So anyway, we finally make it to Thursday. I swear we'll get through this quickly. I say that every time and it never does. But this game, or Thursday, a lot of teams had off. So the Reds and the Marlins concluded their series. Reds win this one 8-1. Once again, no little recap there whatsoever for me to look at. But this was just very consistent output by the Marlins. No home runs either, which is impressive. 8 runs, 12 hits, no homers. There was a triple as well. Xavier Edwards, who's also a really good start, hitting .343 at the moment. The only 1 home run, but he's off to really. I was facing him in fantasy for a while, and he was like, "Can you please stop scoring?" It was really annoying. But yeah, the good bit of hitting there for the Marlins to take that or tie up that series, even up at 2. The Yankees and the A's finished up their series with the A's winning 1-0. A's had 1 run on 8 hits. Yankees got a grand total of 1 hit, which is very depressing for the Yankees. Jeffrey Springs threw, I think, 6+ innings of no-hit baseball, which is pretty cool. And the Yankees had who was the one singular guy who hit? It was Ben Rice who got a hit. It might have been a single also. So yeah, that was not good. They were only 0 for 3 for runners in scoring position. Ahmed Rosario did have 2 walks there. Giancarlo Stanton also had a walk. Aaron Judge goes 0 for 4 with a strikeout, which is always nice to see. He's actually had a pretty good stretch as of late, but as a Yankees hater, it's always nice. But yeah, that was not a good game for the Yankees, all things considered. I mean, it sucks for Ryan Weathers, who he gives up 1 run, 8 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts as well, and he's the losing pitcher because the Yankees couldn't do anything that game. So yeah, there's that. The Twins and the Tigers concluded their 4-game series with the Twins sweeping that 4-game series 3-1, which Tigers also off to a really bad start. They've improved now. They're 8-9 at the moment, but at that point they were 4-9. So the Tigers went on a winning streak, but there's like a lot of teams that you were a little surprised at seeing off to some really bad starts. So the D-backs and Mets, this was a series conclusion as well, I believe. And D-backs would win this one 7-1. This was a Nolan McLean loss. Who he had a really good first start of the season, I believe, because I think he's only pitched in 2 starts. Let's see stats. Does it just say for 2026? Oh no, he's played in 4 games. Never mind. I don't know why he only did 2. He's 1-1, so I guess these 2 no decisions there. But he got the loss here. So the Diamondbacks were at that point 7-6. They've been pretty hot. They just beat the Orioles today, but they lost yesterday, so they're 1-1 there. D-backs at this point are 10-8, so that's not bad at all. Then the White Sox and the Royals concluded their series. White Sox won that one 2-0. Again, Kansas City really, really struggling. Actually, no, it was second game of 4. Second game of 4 between the Royals and the White Sox. For some reason, I thought that was a different series, but yeah. So the White Sox. Oh wait, no, was that first game? I think that was the first game of 4. Never mind, I'm completely off. So not a series conclusion, a series opener. And the White Sox take that one 2-0. Both teams were 5-8 after that game. So the AL Central, not off to a good start overall in 2026. Then finally, the Rockies and Padres, they would play, and this was a series opener for these 2 teams. I think it was it was a 4-game series actually, and the Padres would win this one 7-3. There's actually a Xander Bogaerts walk-off grand slam, which is kind of crazy, and that would begin a very unfortunate series for the Rockies. So Friday rolled around, and if you saw my stream between the Orioles and the Giants, this was not a good game for the Orioles at all. And it began a very injury-riddled weekend for the Orioles as well. Like Adley Rutschman would go down with an injury. It's like ankle soreness or something. Ryan Mountcastle, I think this was this game. He was rounding a base and then basically broke his foot, and he's on the 60-day IL. Who else? Jackson Holliday just went down for another rehab start or something. And there's one other. Who else got injured? Weird. Oh yeah, Tyler O'Neill, who had on an off day, was dehydrated and fainted basically, and hit his head and got a concussion. So yeah. And then actually, I'll get to that when we get to Monday. But yeah, Orioles not having a good run with injuries at the moment. They got whatever was going on with Toronto in the first couple weeks. So yeah, there's that. Then, by the way, they also lost 6-3. There was Willie Adames had a home run. He would have an insane series in this game. And I think, did he have 2 homers in this game? No, he only had 1. But he had a couple hits. This was the Casey Schmidt. He had like 3 doubles in this game. It was like they all looked exactly the same too, which was really annoying. And yeah, it is what it is. This is the frustrating loss. The Red Sox Cardinals would begin a series there, right? This is beginning the series, I think. Yeah, they did. Cardinals would win this one 3-2. Dustin May got the win there, so he really improved his ERA. So he's still at a 9.45 ERA, but that is definitely a big improvement there. And the Red Sox fell at that point to 4-9, so it was not really bad start from the Red Sox. Cubs Pirates would play, so nice NL Central divisional matchup there. The start of this 3-game series between those two. Pirates win this one 2-0. Brian Reynolds had a homer, so the Pirates actually pretty good. At this point, they're 8-5. They are actually, what are they at the moment? They are at the moment 10-7. So who would have thought the Pirates would be one of the better teams in baseball record-wise so far to start the season? Diamondbacks and Phillies would conclude. Start a season between the two. This would be a 5-4 Diamondbacks victory. Michael Soroka had 10 strikeouts. That is impressive there. Paul Sewell got a save, so he's actually off to a pretty nice start this season. He also just got saved tonight as well. For someone who's struggled a lot in the past couple of years, Paul Sewell, he's off to a good start here in 2026. Tigers and the Marlins would play. Tigers would right the ship here. Kenley Jansen got the save. It's cool that he's still pitching. He's been in the league for so long. But the Tigers righted the ship, winning shutout 2-0 here. 478th career save for Kenley Jansen. That's what it is. That is just ridiculous. Angels and Reds would play. This was series opener, right? I think, maybe. Yes, series opener between the Angels and the Reds. Angels would demolish the Reds 10-2. I always say the problem is there's Chase Burns on the Reds, and I see Burns listed, and my mind immediately goes to Corbin Burns, but Corbin Burns plays for a different National League team that wears red, and he's also, I think, still rehabbing from Tommy John surgery, so he's not pitching at the moment. But yeah, this is a Jorge Soler grand slam. Angels, they've got some guys that are really hitting for power at the moment. It's kind of interesting. This was, hang on. What was the one with the fight between, was that Wednesday? Hang on. I got to go back for a sec, because I think this was Braves Angels. Was this the one with, it might have been Tuesday. It was Tuesday, actually. It was Tuesday because it happened right after I finished recording the episode. Was that in that game, Jorge Soler and I think a Braves pitcher, I don't remember who it was, got into this massive fight because Soler got drilled or something, and it was I think it was Jorge Soler, but it was Angels and Braves. They got into a massive fight back last Tuesday, and it happened, or it might have been happening while I was recording, and I just didn't see it. But it was crazy, and it was actual mound charge was the first time that's happened in a while. So there was that. All right. Anyway, Blue Jays Twins would play, and the Twins, who after 4-game sweep against the Tigers, they would lose this one here 10-4. That was, let's see, who's that for the Blue Jays? One of the rookies, I think. Catcher Brandon Valenzuela got his first home run, so good for him. Blue Jays would take that one. They would improve to 6-7. Twins would fall to 7-7. So there was that there. Athletics and Mets would play. This was a series opener, pretty sure. Yeah, for sure. And A's would win this one 4-0. Mets also having a really rough go because Juan Soto's on the 10-day IL. Their offense has been really struggling at the moment. This is also a return for Jeff McNeil to Citi Field, as he was, I think he might have been traded to the A's. I think he was traded. I don't think it was just signed in free agency. I think it was a trade. And McNeil got 2 hits there as an Athletic now, because I actually forgot he was on the A's. Rays and Yankees would open up a series here, and Rays would take this one 5-3. This is a loss for Luis Gil. Brian Baker got the save. So, the Orioles fan in me is happy there. A, that the Yankees are losing. B, that it's Brian Baker. Yandy Diaz is also off to a really nice start this season. Got a comeback, sparked the comeback, essentially, according to ESPN, to use their words. But the Rays scored 2 in the 6th inning to take the lead there, and would hold on to that lead also. Come on, ESPN. Load for me, please. All right, yeah. Braves Guardians would play. Braves would win this one 11-5. Matt Olson hit another home run, and he's off to a pretty nice start as well. I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he was awesome, but I don't have him this year, unfortunately. But this was, again, another series start between those two teams. White Sox and Royals would, I believe, wrap up their series. Or no, this was the second game of the series. Never mind. I don't know why, like, every game it's like, yeah, they wrapped up the series here. No, this is the second game of the series. Royals would win this one 2-0. Chris Bubich had a really good night. I think I had picked him up for the day in fantasy, and he had like 25 points or something like that. 11 strikeouts, obviously no runs given up, only 2 hits total by the White Sox there. So after an actually kind of decent start, the White Sox have tapered off very quickly. And they would lose this one here. Nats and the Brewers would play. Nats would win this one 7-3. It's when the Nationals pitching doesn't completely suck, they're actually kind of good. It's just when their pitching does suck, obviously they're bad. Very insightful commenting there. Come back anytime. But anyway, yeah. Nats would improve to 5-8 there, and Brewers would fall to 8-5 as well. So opposite records at that point. The Padres and Rockies would play, and this is the second game of the series, I believe, if I remember correctly. Padres would win this one 5-2, and second game of the series there. Gavin Sheets had a 3-run homer in the 9th for the Padres, so that was pretty good there. Can certainly take that. The Mariners and Astros would play over out in Seattle for the start of a 4-game series that would go very much in Seattle's way. And Seattle would win 9-6. Randy Arozarena got his first home run of the season. Mariners finally ended their losing streak, and the Astros would begin their losing streak. Actually, I think continue the losing streak at this point, but yeah, it did not get better for the Astros. Then finally, the Dodgers and the Rangers would play. Dodgers would edge out a win here, 8-7. Max Muncy had a 3-run homer, or 3-homer. Wait, hang on. Max Muncy had 3 home runs? Hang on a minute. No way he had 3 home runs in one. Wow, he had 3 home runs in one game. That's crazy. Well done, Max Muncy. I just know I have Andy Paz in my fantasy team, and he's been insanely good, but that is wow, Max Muncy. I did not realize he had 3 home runs in the same game. Anyway, moving on to Saturday. Orioles and Giants would play their second game of the series. This one was a 6-2 win for the Orioles. It was actually against Logan Webb, too, which is impressive. Gunnar Henderson had a home run this game. Jeremiah Jackson had a home run in this game. And actually some pretty solid pitching by the Orioles. They gave up 10 hits, but only 2 runs, so they were good at stranding runners. And started kind of a bit of a hot streak for the O's here. It took them a bit, but they started to get it going. It was good to see. Red Sox and Cardinals, they would continue playing. Red Sox would win this one 7-1. Wilson Contreras had a 3 RBI game, and the Red Sox would even up the series there. Diamondbacks and Phillies would play. Phillies would win this one 4-3. Kyle Schwarber had a good game, 3-run home run there, so that's really nice. Kyle Schwarber is always good at hitting homers there. And they would Phillies would even up that series with Arizona at 1 apiece as well. Tigers would win their second straight over the Marlins. Riley Green had a 3-run homer, and Tigers were finally starting to piece things together after the really bad series against Minnesota. Pirates and the Cubs would end in a Pirates victory. An extra innings victory had that in the went to the 11th inning actually. Pirates would win that in 11 innings, scoring 1 in the top of the 11th and then holding off in the bottom of the 11th. So there was that there. That was second game of the series, right? Pretty sure. 99% sure. So the Pirates would take that 3-game series in 2. Twins and the Blue Jays would play. Twins would win this one 7-4. And kind of, they would even up the series there. Continue the Twins' sudden surge into actually playing really well, and as they just kept on winning. Angels and Reds would play. Reds would win this one 7-3. There's also LA's manager Kurt Suzuki got ejected in this game, which is interesting. It might be his first career ejection because I think this is his first year as a manager. But yeah, Angels would lose. This is game 2 of the series, right? Yeah, this is game 2. So that series got evened up there. A's and Mets would play in game 2 of the series here. A's would win this one 11-6. So the A's, it's like the A's just randomly show up and hit insanely well for a game, and then they hit like 3 times the next game. It's very strange. But this game, Mets had a rough stretch here. Not gonna lie, Mets like really ever since Juan Soto went down last week, Mets they've had a rough go of things. Since they have not won since it's been a minute since they've won. White Sox and Royals would play. This was game 3 of the series, I believe. Royals would win this one 2-0. They won 2 straight. Actually, first 3 games of this 4-game series were 2-0 wins. First one was by the White Sox, and the next 2 were by the Royals. Michael Wacha had a really good game. Here, Wacha's 2-0 with a .43 ERA at the moment, so that is pretty nice, not going to lie. Yankees and Rays would play their second game of the series. Rays would win this one 5-4. Winning in overtime here. David Bednar got the loss, and this was a 4-run, I think. It was two runs in the 10th, but it was, I think this is the one where Jazz Chisholm basically like threw it to first base on a bases loaded, like 1-out situation in the 11th, and the Rays walked it off because the out at first just didn't matter. It was very weird. And I think this is the one where Jazz was like, after the game, he's like, yeah, I have no idea how the rules work. I just threw it to first because that was instinct, and it was kind of stupid. But also very funny. All right, the Nats and the Brewers would end in another Nationals victory, winning only 3-1 this time, so they're less high scoring than I feel like they usually are. But they would pick up their second straight win against the Brewers there. Guardians and the Braves would play. Guardians would shut out the Braves 6-0. And this was game 2 of the series, so they would get the win back there. Rockies and Padres would play game 3 of the series. Right, this was game 3. And Padres would win their third straight against the Rockies 9-5 in this one. Ramon Laureano and Manny Machado had homers in this game. So the Rockies were wishing they could get out of San Diego at this point. The Rangers and Dodgers would play again. This was a Shohei Ohtani game in the sense that he had a leadoff home run. And Dodgers would win this one 6-3. This is actually an Emmett Sheehan starting pitching performance, not a Shohei Ohtani pitching performance, but another win for the Dodgers there. They went to 11-3, or advanced. I guess went also worked by advanced to 11-3 at that point. Yeah, the Dodgers are just really good. There's a good chance they win the World Series a third time in a row. Finally, the Mariners and Astros would play. Astros put up 17 hits, by the way, in this game, and they would lose 8-7. On 7 hits, Mariners had 7 hits, scored 8 runs. Astros had 17 hits, only scored 7 runs. And yeah, it's just embarrassing by the Astros there. Brian Abreu got the loss as well. He has a solid 0-2 record and a 20.25 ERA. So that's not good at all. I think I can say for sure that's not what you want to have as a pitcher. And that capped off a very interesting Saturday. Sunday was also another fun one. Orioles and Giants would wrap up their series with an Orioles win, 6-2 there. It's actually back-to-back 6-2 victories. This was, I think Samuel Basallo had he had a home run. Pete Alonso finally had a good game there. He had a 2 RBI game. Cade Povich tossed he was perfect through the first 4 innings. Tossed 6+, only giving up 1 run, I think. It was really nice there. So that was a good series win by the Orioles, and they were really starting to heat up. They were at that point 8-7 and had a bit of momentum for after that. Red Sox Cardinals would end in a Red Sox victory. And so the Red Sox actually take the series against the Cardinals, winning the second and third games there. So the Red Sox advanced to 6-9. They are 6-11 at this point, so they've lost the last two. And again, Red Sox having a lot of issues at the moment, but this game was not one of them. D-backs and Phillies would wrap up their series here with a D-backs victory. This was, just 3-game series. The D-backs would win games 1 and 3 there. Phillies had 10 hits, only 3 runs though. Diamondbacks had 9 hits and 4 runs, so not great with runners in scoring position, I'd assume, from either team. Paul Sewell got his 5th save of the season in this game. Twins and Blue Jays would play as well to not transition that all that well. But yeah, Twins and Blue Jays. Max Scherzer got absolutely demolished in this game. I had picked him up because I thought he was going to do well, and he got like negative 15 points. I was not happy about that. But yeah, this was Blue Jays is not going well for them at this point. So they would lose that series there to the Twins. Fall to 6-9 as well. Twins 9-7 at this point after this game. So that was pretty good there. Twins, one of the better teams in the American League, which is strange. Actually, are they the best at the moment in the American League? Yes, they are. They're 11-7 at this point and best in the league. Though I'll get to the standings later. But yeah, for a spoiler alert as to how the Twins have been doing, pretty good actually. The Angels and the Reds would wrap up their series here. Jose Soriano again had just absurd game. 4-0 record, .33 ERA for Jose Soriano. Probably the best pitcher in baseball right now, I'd say, through 4 starts. Best starting pitcher, I should say. That just crazy, absolutely crazy. And the Angels would win that series 2 out of 3 games, winning first and third there. The A's would win 1-0 against the Mets in this one, sweeping the series in 3, which is, I don't think too many people were going to be expecting that going into the season. That's for sure. Marlins and Tigers would win and sweep the series here, winning 8-2. This was first bad game for Sandy Alcantara. And even then, it's still, his ERA is still only 2.67 at the moment. So that is just shows you how good he was pitching at the start of the season. But this was not nearly as good, and Marlins would fall there. They've been on a bit of they would lose there. Actually, I guess they won. Not much of a losing streak. It's only 3 games there. The Rays would sweep the Yankees, winning 5-4 here. Drew Rasmussen had a really good game. Cam Schlittler got the loss. So he basically, after Schlittler, 2 really good starts to start the season, but after that, he's had some rough ones here and there. And the Rays, would sweep the series in 3. The White Sox would win 6-5, so they would split the 4-game series with the Royals, winning the first and last, losing it in the middle 2. They would win this one 6-5. Tanner Murray got his first MLB home run. Also apparently a 3-hour rain delay, which kind of sucks for that game. Hey, Sir Anthony Dominguez got the save, former Oriole as well, so that's cool. The Nats and Brewers would end in a national sweep of the Brewers, which is kind of crazy. Nats would win this one 8-6. Was not expecting the Nats to sweep the Brewers because the Brewers were at that point 8-4 going into the series, and the Nats were 4-8. Yeah, completely opposite records. Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. Again, baseball. Sure, let's go with that. Cubs would win against the Pirates, so they would stave off the sweep there, winning 7-6. Michael Busch got his, because I think that's his first name, got his first hit of the season after going 0-for-30 to start. Cubs would eliminate a 5-run deficit there as well, which is pretty crazy. The Padres and Rockies would end in a Padres victory and a 4-game sweep of the Rockies, winning 7-2 in this one. So yeah, it was not good for the Rockies there. They fell to 6-10 at that point. Padres advanced to 10-6. Way too late for this. Way too late. Astros Mariners would play. Mariners would win this one. Was this the end of the series? No, it's the third of 4. in the series. Mariners would win their third of those 4, winning 6-1 there. And then the Rangers would take one over the Dodgers, winning 5-2. Ohtani had another leadoff homer, but did not get too much help after that. Jacob deGrom got the win. Roki Sasaki got the loss. So don't know what's been going on with Roki Sasaki, but he just has not been able to convert it in the major leagues compared to how he was in Japan. So the Dodgers still won the series, winning 2 out of 3, but Rangers staved off the sweep. Then the Braves would absolutely just destroy the Guardians, winning 13-1 there. Tanner Bybee got the loss. I think I was actually watching this game because it was Sunday Night Baseball, and it was just, he looked good for like the first couple innings, and then it just all fell apart completely. So the Braves would take that one 13-1. It's like the Braves just randomly put up monster games here and there, I feel like, and then also give up monster games as well. So Monday, yesterday, technically 2 days ago now at this point, but I'm considering it yesterday since this is the Tuesday episode in my mind. Monday was ridiculous. So it was going into that day, it was like offense as a whole was down in the league. It's April, so it's, weather's a bit colder and whatnot. And it was just like statistically, batters were not hitting as well. That changed on Monday. Monday was kind of ridiculous. There are, let's see, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I thought there was more than 6, but 6 teams hit in the double digits in terms of runs. There's only a couple teams that scored below 3 runs. There's like 1, 2, 3 teams scored 3 or lower. A couple teams with 4 runs. It was just kind of insane what was going on Monday. Like, I was driving home. I had a 3-hour car ride heading home, so I unfortunately missed a lot of these games. I had the Orioles game on in the car, but so I didn't get to keep up with it as it was happening. But like just being on baseball Twitter and like baseball Reddit as well after the dust settled. It was like a historic night offensively. So the Orioles Diamondbacks started. The Orioles would go down 7-1. Ketel Marte and Nolan Arenado both had 2 home runs in this game. And like I turned the game off after that because I was like, I don't want to listen to this as I'm driving home because it sucked. Then Jeremiah Jackson had a grand slam. Also, Craig Albornaz, the Orioles manager, got hit in the face with a foul ball. Also courtesy of Jeremiah Jackson. So he has, I think, like 6 broken bones in his cheek. He's still okay. Like he was managing today, but that was really painful. But yeah, Jeremiah Jackson hit a home run, made it 7-6, and then Pete Alonso hit a 2-run home run to make it 8-7. Jeremiah Jackson also had another home run to make it 9-7, and the Orioles would hold on to win, completing the comeback, winning 9-7 there to start that series against the Diamondbacks. The Red Sox and the Twins would play here, I don't know why I said here. The Red Sox and Twins would play, start a series there. Garrett Crochet gave up, I believe, 11 runs in this game. Twins would win this one 13-6. That was really bad from Garrett Crochet. It was, let's see, what was his single game ERA in this one? It was, hang on, box score help me. I clicked the wrong thing. Let's see, Garrett Crochet had a solid, 1.2 innings pitched, 9 hits, 11 runs, 10 earned, 3 walks, no strikeouts, only giving up 2 home runs. I guess 7.58 ERA, which I feel like that should have been higher, but that was not good. Not good at all. This was also like a day with, I think like some of the most, I think it was like 8 different players had multi-home run games back on Monday. It was ridiculous. The Mariners and Astros, this was a series wrap-up between the two, and this would also go the Mariners' way. They would sweep the series in 4, winning 6-2 here. George Kirby got the win, so that was really nice there for the Mariners, winning 4 straight and going to 8-9. Astros fell to 6-11 at that point, 1-9 outside of Houston, which is not good at all. Their road record is really bad. Phillies and Cubs would play. Phillies would win this one 13-7. What's your first name? Javier Assad, who I also had on my fantasy team that day because I picked him up just as a rotational starter. He got the loss. It was really bad. So I like between him and I forget who else I had, but I had someone else back on Monday. Oh yeah, I had Jordan Romano. That's who it was, who completely choked against the Yankees. They had like negative 30 points between them, but I did have Paul Skeens who helped negate some of it as well. So it was between the two. But yeah, this was start of the series against the Cubs there. Phillies would take that first one. Pirates and Nationals would play. Pirates would win this one 16-5. Paul Skeens had a really nice day. So he's greatly improved his time after that first start. Has a flat 4 ERA at the moment, but 3-1, winning his last 3 straight. The Yankees and the Angels would play an absolutely awesome game. Mike Trout and Aaron Judge, I think, both had multi-homer or like 2 home runs in this game. It ended in a 11-10 victory. Jordan Romano just completely crapped the bed. I think it ended off with a walk-off wild pitch with the bases loaded, which is not it's kind of embarrassing. But it was just a complete back and forth affair. Like it was Aaron Judge would hit a home run, then Mike Trout hit a home run. Then there's like an Yankees would score again. Then the Angels score again. It was just blow for blow for blow for blow. It was really cool. Just one of those gotta love baseball moments type deal. The Marlins and the Braves would start a series with the Marlins winning this one at 10-4. So again, another really high scoring team there. And the Marlins would right the ship after their rough outings against the Tigers. And let's see, anything happened in this game that I need to know? Anything at all? This was, who had home runs? Connor Norby had homer there. Connor Norby and Augustine Ramirez both had homers. And just 2 of them there. Let's see, who else played? Guardians and the Cardinals played. This was not a series opener, right? No, this was a series opener. Never mind. Guardians won this one 9-3. And yeah, there was that there. Rangers and A's would play because I'm trying to get through quickly because I'm approaching the hour mark. Rangers won 8-1 over the A's. So the A's, a little bit of a hot streak, fell off here. Yeah, A's had won 5 straight coming into this game, but they would obviously not win this one here. Luis Severino off to not a very good start. 0-2 record with a 5.59 ERA. He's not having a good time as Athletic at the moment, I can tell. Then the Mets and Dodgers would play, and the Dodgers would shut out the Mets 4-0, and that trend would continue going into today, I'm pretty sure. Did they shut them out again today, I think? No, the Mets actually did score a run, but I think it got to a point where there was like 20 straight innings where the Mets did not score a run because they didn't score a run before that against the A's in the game before. So it was a really bad stretch for the Mets for a while. They did get one back to get, or no, they lost today. Never mind. I thought they won today for some reason, but no, they lost. So we go to today, finally, technically yesterday at this point, but the most recent day, the Orioles and Diamondbacks, this was Trevor Rogers' start, and he actually, first bad start he's had as an Oriole pretty much. Gave up a 3-run home run that really didn't look like it was going to be a home run, but it wound up being one to left field. Still not sure how that ball got out. I don't know what was going on. But Orioles offense just was not having a good day at the plate. Left a lot of guys in scoring position, and they would fall 4-3. Paul Sewell got a 6th save of the season here. Merrill Kelly, who made his first start of the season, pitched okay. He gave up 2 runs, I think, but it was not pretty. But it got the win. So there's that at least. The Twins would shut out the Red Sox here. Twins, again, improving to 11-7. They would take the first 2 against the Red Sox there. Red Sox, again, just not going well for them at all. Twins, though, I'm surprised they're as good as they are at the moment. But hey, That's baseball. The Cubs would win 10-4 over the Phillies in this game, so they would even up the series there with another high-scoring game. Is that Colin Ray? I think that's who it was. He got the win. Yeah, Colin Ray. So he gets a second win of the season, going to 2-0 though with a 3.63 ERA at the moment. Interesting there. Tigers would win over the Royals 2-1. Was this the start of a series? I think this was. Start of a series between those two AL Central rivals. Will Vest got his first win of the season. Very low action offensively type of game. Both teams only with 4 hits. But the Tigers would make a bit more of those hits compared to the Royals, winning 2-1 there. Kenley Jansen also got another save, so he's up to 3 on the season. The Reds would win 2-1 over the Giants. Brady Singer got his first win of the season. Robbie Ray got his second loss. Emilio Pagan got his 5th save. Another low-scoring one there. So after the excitement of Monday, Tuesday not quite as high-flying. The Nats would win 5-4 over the Pirates. So they're now 8-9 at the moment. Pirates 10-7. And that's, I don't know what to make of the Nats at the moment. They're actually 7-4. They have not played a lot of games at home, I guess, and they've lost a lot of those games at home because they're 7-4 away. That means they're 2-5, I guess, at home. Interesting. And actually 1-5. Never mind. They're 1-5 at home. That's not good. But yeah, Pirates still 10-7. That's nice. The Angels would demolish the Yankees in this one. Ryan Weathers got tagged for, I think, 4 solo home runs in this game. And the Yankees office just did nothing. I think it was kind of a punt lineup type of day for the Yankees. Like a lot of their bench players played, and it did not help at all. It was not good. No, I'm happy about it. I like that. So the Yankees 9-8 at the moment, but they've been on a bit of a skid. Because they were 8-2, now they're 9-8. So that it's been a real bad stretch for them as of late. They've won basically since the last game in Miami, which was April 5th. So 10 days ago. They are 2-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're 2-7 at the moment, which is not good, to say the least. Speaking of the Marlins, they would lose to the Braves 6-5 here. Is that Ranger Suarez? Yeah, Ranger Suarez. Robert Suarez. Never mind. Other R Suarez. Robert Suarez got the win there. I think he's more of a setup man. Because Raisel Iglesias is the closer, or at least he got the save. I don't know. They might rotate between the two. I don't know. And I guess that's what happens when you have multiple elite level bullpen guys. But the Marlins or the Braves would even up the series there between the Marlins at 1 apiece. Going into tomorrow, I assume, is the finale. The Rays would win over the White Sox in the start of series between those two teams. They would win 8-5. Shane McClanahan got the win. Brian Baker got another save, so he's up to 3 now in the season. Blue Jays would win over the Brewers, winning 9-7. And Blue Jays kind of stemmed the tide of their losing ways, or their rough past couple of series there, so they would win the series opener there. Brewers kind of fall from grace at the moment as well. They're 8-8, but they've lost a lot. They've lost their past 6 in a row, actually. So yeah, tough stretch there for the Brewers. Meanwhile, the Guardians and Cardinals would play. Cardinals would win 6-5. This was the second game of the series between those two. Cardinals evening up the series there between those two red teams. Astros and Rockies would play. Astros would win this one 7-6. So the Rockies continue to skid while the Astros finally seem to have righted the ship after losing the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. So the Astros would snap that 8-game losing streak there, winning in a close one though, but still a win nonetheless. They are now 7-11. Rockies 6-11 actually. The Padres would win over the Mariners. 4-1. Start of season or series between those two teams. I think Jackson Merrill had a pretty good game here. He had 2 for 4 or 3 for 4 actually, with scored 2 runs. No homers for the Padres, but still good overall. Mason Miller got another save. He's just insane so far this season. Like, pure dominance from Mason Miller in this season. It's just ridiculous. The A's would win over the Rangers 2-1 in a start of a series between those two, right? No, never mind. Middle of the series between there. So the A's would actually, they would even up the series and continue their pretty hot stretch so far. Both teams, they're 9-8 now. Then finally, the Mets and Dodgers played. Dodgers won 2-1. Actually, already kind of covered that. And yeah, that was that actually does it for this week. I mean, obviously I'm going to go do stats and stuff, but that does it for the games. All the games have gone final today, since this is now almost 1:30 in the morning. So yeah, batting average wise, Chandler Simpson leads the league at 407. I know he's just a singles and stolen base machine, I'm pretty sure. Andy Paja is second on the team, or in batting average with 397. Actually, funnily enough, on my fantasy team, I have both of those guys, Chandler Simpson and Andy Pajas, which is nice. Yandy Diaz third, 365. Ben Rice fourth, 362. And CJ Abrams fifth with 365. Home run leaders, it is Jordan Walker with 8. Brandon Lau with 7. I guess I could also do teams. So Chandler Simpson is Tampa Bay. Andy Pajas, Dodgers. Yandy Diaz, Tampa Bay as well. Ben Rice, New York Yankees. CJ Abrams, Washington Nationals. Jordan Walker's on the Cardinals over in St. Louis. Brandon Lau's on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Aaron Judge is third, tied for third, actually. It's actually probably a good number of guys tied at third with 6 home runs. So Aaron Judge, let's see if I pull up the full list. So Aaron Judge in the Yankees, Kyle Schwarber for the Phillies, Yordan Alvarez for the Astros, CJ Abrams for the Nats, and Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles all have 6 home runs, though they obviously still trail Jordan Walker. RBIs, it is Andy Pajes with 20, CJ Abrams with 19, Jorge Soler for the Angels has 18, along with Drake Baldwin for the Braves, and Drake Baldwin also has 18, then Yordan Alvarez with 16. Yordan Alvarez on the Astros. Just pure hits leaders, it is Andy Pajes with 25, Chandler Simpson 24, Brandon Nimmo on the Texas Rangers 23, Yandy Diaz also 23, Joe Adell also 23, who's on the Angels. So the Angels actually have some guys who can really hit so far this season. Then stolen bases, it is Jose Ramirez on Cleveland with 8, Bobby Witt Jr. on Kansas City also with 8, and then Jacob Marcy on Miami also with 8. Then O'Neal Cruz on Pittsburgh and Chandler Simpson also have 7. Pitching wise, it is wins. It is Jose Soriano with the Angels with 4. Then a lot of guys with 3 just listed. It is Jeffrey Springs with the Athletics, Chris Sale with Atlanta, Taj Bradley with Minnesota, and Paul Skeens with Pittsburgh also had 3. But yeah, Jose Soriano, he's going to show up a lot at the moment because he's doing really well. He also leads the league in ERA with 0.33, I think, for like starters. Michael Wacha for Kansas City has 0.43. Eduardo Rodriguez for the Diamondbacks has 0.50. Parker Messick for Cleveland has 0.51. Then Randy Vasquez for San Diego has 1.02. Saves, it is Paul Sewald with Arizona for 6. Paul Sewald for Arizona with 6 saves. Then a lot of guys at 5. Emilio Pagan with Cincinnati. David Bednar with New York Yankees. Lucas Urseg with Kansas City with 5. Also Ryan Helsley for the Royals. Again, they all have 5. Is anyone else at 5 saves? Yes. Johan Duran for the Phillies. And Mason Miller for the Padres also at 5 saves. Let's see. Strikeouts, it is Jacob Mizorowski for the Brewers with 33. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays with 31. Jose Soriano also 31. Then also Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies with 31 as well. Mackenzie Gore, they're at 5th with 30 for the Texas Rangers. Then finally, quality starts, Max Fried for the Yankees with 4. Jose Soriano also 4. Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers also 4. Then Chris Sale for the Braves, and Michael Wacha at 3. Let's see, anyone else at 3? Probably, I'd assume. Actually, a lot of guys at 3. Let's go down the list. Mitch Keller with the Pirates, Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, Jeffrey Springs for the A's, Framber Valdez for the Tigers, Trevor Rogers for the Orioles, George Kirby for the Mariners, Tarek Skubal for the Tigers, and Brian Wu also for the Mariners all have 3 quality starts. So that will do it for this episode. Baseball recaps. I also apologize for not getting out an episode Saturday on non-sports stuff. I was planning on it, and then I didn't do it for one reason or another. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. So most likely no episode this Saturday, because I'm going to be on a trip. Maybe if I am not completely exhausted when I get back, I might do something. Probably not though. Maybe I'll do something Sunday. Maybe, I don't know. But also probably this Thursday, I might. I don't know, because I want to get the AFC West recap out before the draft happens next Thursday. But we'll see. We'll see how my schedule helps out for that. For YouTube wise, I'll be streaming Orioles and Guardians this Friday, and then I'm actually going to be streaming Super Metroid Saturday instead of Thursday because I have. Oh wait, no. I realized I made that post and I should not be streaming Saturday. Yeah, I got to change that. Hang on, I just realized. All right. That's good theorizing at the moment. Yeah, so that will be... Maybe I'll have to put a pause on the Super Metroid stream for a bit because I have a lot of stuff going on. I just realized that right now. I'm very tired. I'm going to end off here. Thank you very much for listening.